Hello guys, what's up? Welcome to Tacom Studio once again. So today we are gonna create the Google Maps for the web. It is very easy to create Google Maps when we are dealing with the mobile phone application, just like the Android and iOS using Flutter. But there were a lot of the questions about like how to integrate the Google Maps on the web. If we talk about the API, if we talk about the dependency that is being provided by the Flutter for the Google Maps simple, and that doesn't provide the integration for the web platform. Let's start building the map, and let's see that how does it look like when it comes to the web. So first of all, what we are gonna do, we are gonna import a library that is simply the Google Maps Flutter. We can use the Google Maps Flutter when we are developing the Android and iOS. It supports both Android and iOS, but it doesn't support the web applications developed by the Flutter. So for that purpose, what we are gonna do, we are gonna import another package, and it was published about 30 days ago, and it is a very good effort from the Flutter community. And we can use this Google Maps Flutter web, and that actually supports Google Maps Flutter at its backend. We simply need to import this package in our prospect.yaml. After we have done this, what we need to do, we need to simply run the Flutter pubget so it can load all of the dependencies which have been added newly in the Flutter project. So after that, what we are gonna do, we are gonna navigate to our web folder that is just right over here. So upon its index, what we are going to do, we are going to add a new script tag that is basically in the head section of our index.html. So what we are going to do here, we are going to simply add our key that is basically generated from the Google Cloud Services. And if you have created a project, or if you have created the location key for your applications, just like for the Android, for the app, you need to enable your API key for the web application as well. So after that, what we are going to do, we are going to simply navigate to the components in my directory, in my project. So what we are going to do, we are simply going to create a new file. In my case, I've created the google.dart. You can create maps.dart or whatever you want. So it is just for the demo purpose. So we are simply going in the google.dot, and what we are gonna do, we are gonna import the library that is for the Google Maps Flutter, which is supported by both of the Android and iOS. We are not going to import the Google Maps Flutter web because I told you that at the back end, the Google Maps Flutter web would use this library that is a Google Maps Flutter. After that, we are gonna create a stateful widget, and I've created a stateful widget by the name of maps. And initially it has nothing. After that, we are going to create the init state. So it is basically the override function, and we are gonna load all of the events that are important for the uh, web map. So we can load the map as soon as the activity or the widget is built. So after that, what we are gonna do, we are gonna create a controller that is basically the Google Map controller. Its definition is available in the Google Maps Flutter. So I have simply created a controller. I would initialize it afterwards. So I have created it with the late keyword. So after that, we are going to create a list of markers that is initially empty. And this is basically the list where we would load our markers, just like if we need only one marker on the map to show the location of some restaurant or some other brand. So I have created a simply a list, because afterwards the parameters that would be used by the maps controller that would be actually asking for the list. So we have created an empty list. After that, I've created a bool variable that is basically to show the maps. Initially, you can set it to false, and if the user requires it, you can set its value to true. And of course, we have built the stateful widget so you can use it afterwards. So just ignore it for this moment, because there is no impact of this Boolean keyword. So after that, what we are gonna do, we are gonna create a condition that if the markers dot is empty, for example, if our list is empty, is not empty, sorry, then we are going to show the maps. It's mean if our list is not empty means we need to show the maps, and we can set its value to true. So initially I've set its value to true, so this condition would not have any impact. So after that, what we're gonna do, we are gonna add the marker location. So here we have two parameters. One parameter is marker ID. You can place a marker ID, just like in my case, I have placed that it's my location. And you can set the position in the form of the lat and long. You can take the latitude and longitude from the Google Maps. And in my case, I have just statically built this. So after that, what we are gonna do, we are gonna return are simply padding. That is basically the agent sets dot all, like it would pad about 20 from all of the sites. After that, we are going to create a child. This is just a ternary operator in order to check that if we have to show maps or not. So show maps is basically an event, and I would be basically going to this event afterward. So this is basically a circular progress indicator. For example, if the show maps doesn't load, then what we have to do, we have to load the circular progress indicator. So if show maps is true, it's mean that the markers list is not empty, means we have to load the maps. Otherwise, it would show simply the progress indicator until unless the list of the markers is not empty. So after that, what we are gonna do, we are simply gonna create a container. The height of it is static, that is 300. Width is 1230. For the web, it is suitable. And I've simply created a decoration box. You would be familiar with all of this stuff. But in its child, what we have done, we have simply built the Google Map. And in the Google Map, we have a property that is basically the on map created. It is simply a callback. Like for example, if it simply uses the controller, and we can set the state, like we can assign the controller to the maps controller that we have just created on the top. So after that, we can set the markers, like in the marker property, we can set that I have a list of markers, and you can simply set the list of that markers. After that, the map type, there are a lot of the map types. For example, if we see that this is the map type dot terrain, and we can see that it is hybrid, is normal, satellite, terrain, or none. So terrain is good, like it doesn't take that much time to load, and it has a beautiful view, and that's it. So the initial camera position, like how much you want, how do you want your map to look initially, like how much the zoom level should be. For example, if you want to show the sheet level map, then you can zoom as the position of that market is required. So this is all. And for example, if we talk about the output, let's go to this web where I've deployed the Google Maps that uses all of this stuff. And for example, if we scroll down, and it would simply go to the location, and here we go with the Google Maps. So for example, if we zoom in, and it would show me the location, the initial location of the map, we can see right over here. So for example, if we go to the menu and again to the location, and here we go with the location, that is my location. So this is how we can integrate the Google Maps, and here we can reach out to the Google Maps Flutter Web that was published 30 days ago, and it has a good popularity. And you can go to its README or the documentation in order to find that how does it work. So this is what we can do with the Flutter Web Google Maps, and this is all. Take care. I would see you in the next video. Like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.